and get back to the hood, as your homegirl says. You know, because I be feeling like you be riding the fence sometimes. No. I feel like I want to have with you, it's not being reciprocated.
Honestly, Sanya, there is a level of me that I don't trust you.
Wow. The only thing I'm saying about you, when my sister and my family was like, Candy didn't even call, isn't that your girl? I'm like, okay, there's my girl, she ain't called, she don't give a
Before, I was going to keep it to myself, but actually, I think I'm a little bothered now.
It's not about her saying that you were responsible for
Sanya, I do not need you to be trying to be her lawyer today.
Her flowers. That's what I got to say about that. Her and those flowers that she was expecting to get.
What's up, y'all? It's Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 7. So, y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Yeah, let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flame. And if you wanna play with me, you can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, want it, securing the.
So the episode basically opens up with, you know, Drew, she goes out to lunch with a music producer and director, Rage. He done like all these different type of artists, from a T.I. to like Escape, this, that, and the third. And, you know, she's trying to do a video for her song, Already Know. So, you know, she's talking about her marriage. And basically he was like, if you make it past these 8 years, you know, y'all are going to be smooth sailings. And I just definitely feel like it's foreshadowing, because we already know that Ralph and Drew, by the end of the season, race to the courthouse to get divorced. So it's kind of sad, but, you know, we never know. They might get back together. Who knows? Rage is basically like, yeah, you know, I don't know if your husband's in shape or not, but we're going to have to recast him and get someone else in here, because if he take his shirt off, is he going to look like a busted can of biscuits?
We don't know.
I hope not, but that's not my words, that's his. We transfer over, we see Sanya, and she's basically going out with Sheree. They're doing cryotherapy, and, you know, Sheree, she's basically, you know, she tap dances on my nerves, because I feel like Sheree sometimes can be very much aloof, vapid, deranged. You know, the list goes on and on and on. But one thing I say about Sheree, she looks flawless every time. So Sheree, she throws shade at Candy in her own confessionals, because, you know, she got a shout out from Rihanna about her whole She by Sheree line, and she calls Candy a hater. I don't feel like Candy's a hater. I just feel like Candy's just going on with the running joke that America has been doing. Summer, winter, spring. But after the session, they basically sit down and they talk about the events that happened last episode, with Candy and Marlo almost coming to blows, right?
But what I didn't understand, didn't like, was like, why when everything went down, I understood why Candy left, but why did everybody else leave? Yeah, that was.
And they think that it's weird that all the ladies left with Candy, and they feel like Candy basically, you know, gathered the girls, and they follow whatever Candy say. I could definitely see a clear divide, but I do see why people have an issue with Marlo. I mean, Marlo has been coming after them relentlessly. So yes, I do feel like people gang up on Marlo, but do I feel like it's warranted?
Yes. Right.
Sanya feels that Drew and Kenya definitely put a little sauce on the message, and they feel like they are basically stirring the pot. But one thing about Sanya is like, okay, you could say that all you want, but this whole season so far, you have been delivering messages to everyone. So, I mean, they're just doing what you do. So, you know, Sheree, she brings up this whole Gucci lunch, and basically everybody's gonna come in with Gucci. Cool. So Sanya and Sheree was like, I don't think Marlo just created this beef just to come after Candy. I'm like, that's all that Marlo did. Marlo really talked about something that happened in 2020, and she brought it up to basically make Candy look bad and associate Candy with someone's death. I think that's just crazy. My whole thing, if you want to hold Candy to task about, you need to talk about your business on the show, cool. But to associate her with someone losing their life is crazy. Very much. So, you know, we see Marlo, she going out to dinner with Courtney, and, you know, she basically tells them that she's going on a blind date. And she thanks Courtney because Courtney got her in contact with a guy that's going to help her trying to get her record expunged. Well, in the middle of them talking, the producers basically skip over to Candy and Sanya, because like I told you, Sanya makes some rounds. Sanya basically goes out to eat with Candy, and they talk about, you know, Candy's on the red carpet for the piano lesson, and Candy jokingly throws shade at Sanya and was like, well, you know, I'm gonna start rocking with you and your homegirls, because, you know, you basically ride the fence.
With you and your homegirls.
Why you not gonna be
You and your homegirls.
Why you not gonna be with me though?
Because I be feeling like you be riding the fence sometimes.
No, it's
And I don't feel like Sanya rides the fence. I feel like Sanya has a clear side that she's on. Sanya's going to basically defend Marlo every time. And when we go back to Marlo and Courtney when they're out to eat, Marlo's over here like, all I wanted was Candy's support, and I just wanted her to just be there for me. And I understand what she's trying to say, but we already know that Drew and Marlo had a conversation beforehand, before that whole situation, to basically bring up the shooting on Candy so it could segue into Marlo basically going off on Candy. That was it. That's the only reason why Drew and Marlo beefing now. So for her to be like, oh, I just wanted her support, that's BS.
To it for a while, but I'm just over it. I don't care. I'm going to speak my mind. I want people to really know what I was thinking, and it is what it is.
Like, you waited 2 years. You've been seeing Candy from the time it happened to now, and now you just brought it up. So I just thought that response was just weak. Sanya basically reads Sheree's invite to Candy, and Candy sitting there like, you know how Candy do. Like, Candy was just over it. Drew's over here in her rehearsal with Ralph, and they over here, you know, doing a little dance, having a good old time. I said, okay, look at Drew doing her little 8 count. It was very stiff, but it gives that she's learning the steps, and I'm not mad at that, Drew. So, you know, Ralph comes in, and they just like, well, you know, the guy that we had to be in the video dropped out because he's already booked in another video. So, Ralph, you are going to be in the video by default. Ralph was like, I guess I'm happy about it. So, it was funny because then they're like, okay, well, let's see what you got. So, Drew's over here doing a striptease randomly. Ralph sitting down, taking his shirt off. I was like, okay. So we transfer over to Kenya, and she's basically sitting with her doctor. And I think this conversation that Kenya having is a very important conversation for a lot of Black women and women in general, just because she talks about how difficult it was for her to conceive her daughter.
For me, so I was depressed my entire pregnancy because I didn't know if she would be delivered to term or not.
And she almost, you know, there were a lot of complications. She could have lost her life during labor when she had Brooklyn. And I just think that I'm happy that Kenya even brought that to light, because a lot of people don't know that, you know, a lot of Black women when they get older, they're higher risk of, you know, dying during labor. And I feel like that's something that needs to be said, and women need to take the precautions to basically find all the information and figure out and make sure that they are safe. So I think that was really good with Kenya. But what I didn't, what I was confused on with Kenya was, so we already know that Kenya has been getting dragged through the mud by this man.
Have a conversation. Definitely won't be asking anything from him.
You and Mark have been in a difficult divorce for years. Why would you have another child with him?
Soon to be ex-husband has been taking her through this divorce. So she's like, well, you know, I got embryos and I need to talk to him because I might want to have a surrogate. And I'm just like, girl, I wouldn't want to have no more kids with this man, because no, this man is crazy. He's trying to take all your money. And if you have another kid, that might just be more of an incentive for him to get more money. I don't think so. But I get what she's saying. Like, she don't want to have like 2 baby daddies, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But I'm just like, girl, at some point, throw that out the window.
Not on my watch.
No, that man is trash. So the doctor basically tells her, like, you know, your delivery was the scariest delivery I've ever had in 23 years of her practicing. I'm just like, oh my God. But I feel like if Kenya has any concerns about surrogates, literally she could just talk to Candy, because Candy has a surrogate. And if you look at Blaze is a spitting image of Candy, right? So it's time for the Gucci brunch, right? Sheree, she comes in, she basically trying to have problems with the seating chart because she feel like the girls are going to tag team. But she's like, yeah, Drew and Kenya, they're going to speak for Candy. They're going to do this and that. But I feel like they speak for Marlo all the time too. So I don't see what the issue is. It's just like, if that's my friend and I hear bullshit, then I'm just going to speak for him. For me, I feel like Marlo, Sanya, and Sheree look the best. Honorable mention, Candy.
Guys, it should not be like this, and I don't want it to be like this. I want us to be able to coexist and have fun, but it got to be a way that we can fix this and get to a better place.
The group, and she starts tearing up like, oh my God, I just want us to, you know, get in a better place. I'm like, but
Where's the tears?
I don't see no tears falling from your face, ma'am. So then she basically kicks it off and just trying to mitigate the situation with Courtney and Candy. So she's like, Courtney feels that Kandi accepted the olive branch by coming to her event, and Kandi feels like, Courtney was trying to be a friend to check up on her. Sanya was next. She's like, well, Sheree, I'm just going to address Kenya, because Kenya, I feel like you're not a friend to me that I am to you.
The kind of friendship I feel like I want to have with you is not being reciprocated.
Honestly, Sanya, there's a level of me that I don't trust you.
Basically, like, I just don't trust you. Like, I don't trust you like I really think I should. And, Kenya gets mad because she felt like Sanya shaded her on Watch What Happens Live about the whole fake booty comment. I mean, at some point, Kenya, it should just roll off your back.
You know what? This is too much.
Phaedra has been dragging you through the mud about your fake booty. So, I would think that it wouldn't sting so much, but whatever.
It was kind of offensive to me.
Do you believe Kenya has a fake booty? When Marlo brings it to your attention and you look at the shape of it, it looked like it.
I do agree that Sanya rides for Marlo, right or wrong. But Kenya, my whole thing is like, you basically, it's like you were like, okay, I want Sanya to be loyal. You want Sanya to be loyal to you, but you've been shading Sanya since her first season, and then over here wanting her to basically chauffeur you around Jamaica, but you just basically threw her away when you went to Birmingham. Oh, you can leave. Oh, keep you in the dark. Oh, you left them unattended as well. So I'm just like, you wanted her to give you something that you couldn't give them. So I just think with Kenya, I'm just like, I actually kind of agree with Sanya on that. Okay, so we finally get on the whole Marlo versus everybody, right?
With you guys and Marlo. Me, I'm in a great place. And whenever I'm around this group of ladies, I can definitely respect them and get along. It's not that serious.
Like, I don't like the way that they open it and segue into the conversation, because it's basically like, okay, well, Marlo, I know that a lot of people have issues with Marlo, and I just feel like, what is y'all's issue? I feel like they shouldn't have said, what is y'all's issue? Because it opens the door for everyone to gang up on her, and then for this person to speak, they should have just went down the line like, Drew, what's the situation with you and Marlo? Kenya, what's the situation with you and Marlo? Kandi, boo boo. That didn't happen, and so, I do feel like at the end of the day, the girls were ganging up on Marlo.
Kenya and Drew won't let Marlo and Kandi have a conversation. We need to learn how to listen. Listen to
But I feel like Marlo does a lot, and I'm like, at the end of the day, they're just giving her a dose of her own medicine, so it is what it is. I'm not even mad at it. Marlo's like, I'm in a great place. I am so good. I'm like, Marlo, I would see why you're in a great place and you're good, because you're the one causing the chaos. So I'm just like, I see why you're good, right? Marlo's like, I can't make someone like me, and then but girl, you start the mess.
What did I say the big issue was, though, y'all, that day? What did I say the big issue was?
I didn't give her flowers.
What did I tell you she didn't help with the flower?
Take accountability and move on. But I feel like at this point, accountability is the least of the word, because I feel like Kandi's over it. So in the middle of the conversation, Kenya started piping up, and just like, it feels like she's like antagonizing a little bit, and it feels like she's baiting Marlo. She wants Marlo, probably to react. I feel like they're doing Marlo like how they do Candace in Potomac. Kandi tells Marlo that you're not genuine, you never been, and you're trying to associate me with someone's murder.
The only thing I'm saying about you, when my sister and my family was like, Kandi didn't even call, isn't that your girl? I'm like, okay, this is my girl, she ain't called.
Marlo was like, no, what it is the fact that, when Drew brought up the shooting, it triggered me. And my whole thing is, it's irritating because it was already a plot. Y'all was over here plotting. And my whole thing with Kandi is like, you need to look at Drew too, because Drew brought it up. To segue, right? So I just found that funny. And Kandi, I feel like Kandi not dumb. She's been doing the show for about, 14 years now. So I'm like, Kandi already knew what the situation was. So that's why she's just like, you're not genuine. Drew and Kenya not letting Marlo talk. Marlo's getting frustrated. She's just like, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm done. I'm done. She gets up. She storms off.
Respect for every woman that they say that's I got an emergency.
Bitch, like I need your respect out of all the people here. Bottom rung bitch.
That's just.
Kenya starts calling Marlo a BIT. And I'm just like, ooh, okay, Kenya, that's a lie, because you really giving it a lie. So, Sheree and Marlo, they come back because Marlo's outside, and she's just like, I can't talk, I can't say anything. And Marlo got the heavy tongue child trying to say crucifixion. So Kandi feels that, Marlo is basically full of it. Sanya tries to explain to Candy, and Candy basically cuts her off and just like, look, I don't need you to be her lawyer. At the end of the day, F her flowers that she wanted to get.
You be trying to be her lawyer. No, I'm not gonna. Candy, I'm not being a lawyer. Her flowers. That's what I got to say about that. Her and those flowers that she was expecting to get.
And Marlo tells Candy, you're selfish, you're spoiled, you're a different breed. You're a different breed. And that was basically the end of the episode.
Think about you. You don't drag me out every chance you get. You are just a different breed. You're selfish. You are a selfish, spoiled, privileged girl.
Marlo been coming for Candy since last season. Called her a hoe, said her, you know, been going through it. Like, just let it go. Let it go. Candy not cool with that woman. And it is what it is. Like I tell people, I can stomach Marlo. Marlo doesn't really annoy me that much. I get what she's trying to do. She's trying to cause chaos on the show. And I mean, if it wasn't for Marlo on the show right now,
what will we be watching?
So I really don't mind it. But y'all, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.